Tom Cavanagh may not headline every highlight reel, but type his name into a search bar and you'll uncover one of hockey's most quietly influential careers. Born in Warwick, Rhode Island, and forged on Harvard's frozen stage, Cavanagh logged a spectacular 138-game Ironman streak before rewriting the Worcester Sharks record book with another serendipitous 138 points. Drafted by the San Jose Sharks and immortalized for recording an NHL assist just 36 seconds into his debut, the left-shot center balanced Ivy League intellect with two-way tenacity, becoming a benchmark for durability, vision, and understated leadership. This in-depth feature tracks his journey from Tollgate High School dominance to prep school legend at Phillips Exeter, through relentless AHL nights and that unforgettable backhand goal against Ilya Bryzgalov. Whether you're a die-hard NHL stat-hound, a youth coach searching for the perfect two-way role model, or a casual sports fan craving an unsung-hero narrative, Cavanagh's story delivers power play insights, locker room lore, and SEO-friendly keywords that keep both readers and search algorithms hooked until the final buzzer. Fresh ice gleams under the white-hot arena lamps, a flawless pane waiting to be carved into story. And the first skate to crack its surface belongs to Thomas Garrett Cavanagh. March 24, 1982, stamps his entry into Warwick, Rhode Island, where winter sports pulse through neighborhoods the way salt air drifts inland from Narragansett Bay. His father, Joe Cavanagh, still revered around Harvard Square, keeps old jerseys folded beside photo albums, relics of an era when helmets were optional and two-line passes still whistled dead. Joe never pushes, never dictates, but the aura of Crimson legend radiates through family life. Stick-handling drills sneak between homework chapters, and dinner conversations toggle effortlessly from half-wall pinches to macroeconomics, because the game and the mind share equal billing in the Cavanagh household. Tollgate High School reaps the first harvest of that upbringing. Over 3 seasons, the sophomore to senior arc crescendos at 105 points across only 48 appearances, roughly a contribution every other shift. The local press tries on nicknames, Silent Edge, Ivy Lineage, yet none quite cling. Tom's presence defies cartoonish branding. What turns heads is the economy of his game. No gratuitous toe drags, no flag-waving sellies, just a constant choice to move puck to open ice milliseconds before pressure arrives. Rhode Island coaches draft defensive schemes that shadow his shift starts, yet somewhere between third-period fatigue and morning bus stiffness, he still threads passing lanes so narrow that television replays can't catch them without slow-motion enhancement. By graduation, the regional prep school recruiters circle like gulls, but Phillips Exeter Academy submits the winning pitch. Top-tier academics knitted to a hockey schedule brutal enough to test any prodigy. New Hampshire's brick facades and snow-capped walkways stage the 2001 breakout that will echo for decades in prep school record books. 42 goals, 40 assists, 82 points inside 31 games. These numbers rewrite the Exeter annals and send New Hampshire legends of hockey archivists scrambling for fresh ink. Visiting supporters chant Cavanagh with a curiosity once reserved for borderline NHL first-rounders. Meanwhile, scouts brandish clipboards dense with notations. Two-way situational awareness, elite small area vision, accelerates in arcs rather than straight lines, harder to read. The San Jose Sharks, operating nearly 3,000 miles west, nonetheless catch the signal. In the 2001 NHL entry draft, 6th round, pick 182, GM Dean Lombardi mints the name Thomas Cavanagh onto an organizational depth chart that already features Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau. The late-round tag spares Tom from oxygen-thinning media glare, but it quietly aligns his future with palm trees and teal jerseys. That prospect becomes a horizon marker rather than a distraction. Tom accepts the challenge, tucks the draft call into the recess of ambition, and heads to Cambridge because the Ivy League promises both a puck and a podium. Harvard winters aren't just cold, they're a character test. January winds whip off the Charles River and slip between jacket buttons as though auditioning for the penalty box. Inside Bright Hockey Center, a different chill prevails. The stoic expectation of alumni who equate on-ice missteps with lapses in lecture hall diligence. Tom, enrolled as an economics major, flourishes within that dual mandate. Not one contest slips by him in 4 whole seasons. 138 consecutive appearances translate into an ironclad guarantee for his coaches. Lineup cards can be printed days early. Injury reports seldom mention number 25. He caps the run with 48 goals and 69 assists, 117 total points, nesting him comfortably in the Crimson top 25, shoulder to shoulder with names that rattle around ECAC trophy engravings. Individual lines of bold print punctuate those numbers. In 2002, Harvard claws back ECAC supremacy after a decade-long drought. Tom anchors the second line with a calmness that belies his sophomore status, winning defensive zone draws in the waning seconds, while older linemates glance toward the bench in search of oxygen. 2 years later, the semifinal against Brown University spills into sudden death. Crowd noise rattles structural beams overhead as both teams trade icings and desperation blocks. Tom floats high in the slot, shoulders relaxed, reads a defender leaning the wrong direction, then calls for a seam pass. Stick blades cushion rubber, hips open, shot released. The goal horn triggers a micro-quake inside the building, and Brown's bench slumps as Crimson helmets dogpile their overtime hero. By evening's end, Harvard pockets its second ECAC title of the millennium, and Tom's name lands on the all-tournament team roster in glossy ink. Behind highlight reels lurks the less glamorous grind that shapes tactical intellect. Economics seminars teach him about opportunity cost, and he translates that framework to puck possession math. Is lateral support worth sacrificing net front presence? A midterm project on probability steers him toward face-off analytics. He begins cataloging opponent tendencies, blade angle, grip pressure, referee hand cadence, quietly inching his win rate above 55%. Those academic cross-pollinations aren't anecdotal. They become embedded in his subconscious toolkit, ready for deployment when pro systems demand split-second pattern recognition. Graduation caps swirl skyward in 2005, yet Tom's trajectory immediately tilts toward the American Hockey League, hockey's industrial district where dreams clock in for night shifts. The Cleveland Barons supply his first paycheck and his first lesson in professional survival. The AHL schedule is part razor wire, part chess clock, part Greyhound itinerary. 62 games later, he emerges with 21 points and a thicker hide. The franchise moves east in 2006, rebranding as the Worcester Sharks. Within that relocation turbulence, Tom discovers stability. The city sits a scant 40 miles from his collegiate stomping grounds, and the fan base's blue-collar ethos matches his work ethic brand. The AHL stat columns swell. Season 2, 44 points in 74 contests. Season 3, 55 in 77. Midway through 2008-9, he's sitting on 39 points and 51 tilts, operating as Worcester's Swiss Army asset, power play half-wall distributor, penalty kill first wave, ceremonial face-off specialist when retirees drop pucks for promotional photos. By late January, he surpasses every franchise scoring record in goals, assists, and points, synchronizing that uncanny number, 138, this time as a scoreboard metric, mirroring his Ironman streak at Harvard like some numerological wink from the hockey cosmos. April 3rd, 2008. Staples Center in Los Angeles. The NHL recall arrives, and Tom's first shift unfurls against the Kings. A neutral zone turnover pings to his twig. He pivots into open ice, spots Joe Thornton gaining the blue line gap, and serves a saucer pass that lands softer than dawn fog. Thornton buries, time on scorer's sheet, 0:36 of shift 1. Sharks historians scramble, fastest point by a debuting Shark, locked into trivia eternity beside stat anomalies like Patrick Marleau's youngest captain designation. That dash of immediate success lodges a seed of belief among coaches who previously viewed Tom strictly as contingency depth. The cresting momentum continues into March 28, 2009, in Glendale, Arizona versus the Coyotes. Third period knotted 2-2. Tom darts past the weak side defenseman, collects a feed below the hash marks, and flips a backhand with surgeon precision over Ilya Bryzgalov's padded shoulder. Crimson-red goal lamp, bench cascade, broad grin. Television commentators label it a textbook road warrior tally, praising his patience in letting the goaltender commit first. Tom tallies 3 NHL points across 18 appearances that season. On raw paper, it reads modest. But within San Jose's internal scouting reports, his grade defies the column of raw totals. Hockey IQ off the charts. Adaptability to coaching feedback immediate, no maintenance character. Then the body begins to mutiny. The wrist tendon tightens mid-season, requiring rest, but never quite surrendering inflammation. The left knee, a casualty of an awkward board collision, swells unpredictably, draining confidence in crossovers. The shoulder joint absorbs cumulative hits until it clunks on warm-up stick swings. Athletic trainers patch him with the standard array of bands, braces, and cortisone, yet the synergy of full health remains elusive. San Jose assigns him to the Manchester Monarchs in 2010, ironically the affiliate of rival Los Angeles, seeking both ice time and rehabilitation space. Despite limitations, he still logs 8 points over 17 outings, maintaining that near 0.5 clip, as though productivity resides in muscle memory rather than cartilage integrity. A brief stint with the Springfield Falcons follows, another effort to reignite sustained rhythm. The scoreboard continues to blink with his number, but the increments shrink as rest days mount. Counterbalancing the injury narrative is his proficiency in the face-off dot. Opposing centers note a hypnotic pre-draw routine, 4 stick taps, weight rock, micro-extension of lower hand, that conceals the moment of engagement. Coaching staffs feed Tom pages of video intel. He digests, then improvises, winning key battles that tilt territorial advantage during tight third periods. Front office analysts begin sliding his face-off metrics into decisions packets for off-season signings. Even as skating stride dips a fraction, he retains a value tethered to puck possession, and possession remains mission currency in modern systems. Years pass. Young centers now crouch over face-off circles wearing visors Tom never needed during his prep school days. They cite him in post-game scrums, watched his Harvard clips, stole his positioning habits, studied how he coiled into defensive posture without overcommitting the outside knee. That trick, they claim, saves energy across road trips. Some coaches frame the lesson in more spiritual terms. Professionalism doesn't depend on spotlight wattage. Greatness is measured by the ecosystem you leave behind. Tom's ecosystem spans backyard rinks in Warwick, lecture halls in Cambridge, bus aisles across upstate New York, and the shark fin logos stitched to jerseys drying in West Coast locker rooms. When nostalgia channels cue up his 36-second assist, the broadcast crew often invites Thornton to reminisce. The Sharks captain tells the story the same way every time. Awareness beyond expectation, pass delivered with magnetic delicacy, rookie eyes bright yet unstartled. That cameo lines up beside Thornton's personal highlights, proof that elite players feel synergy with anyone who processes the game at warp intellectual speed. Modern fans living in the era of TikTok quick cuts could overlook a career that didn't unfold across primetime national slots. But algorithmic timelines insist on resurfacing feel-good archives, clips of Tom offering extra jerseys to fans stuck behind autograph barricades, college documentaries featuring him, explaining CD curves and microeconomics, slow-motion breakdowns of Exeter's record-breaking goal. Each resurfacing fuels comment thread rabbit holes, luring a new wave of admirers keyed in, less by raw totals and more by storyline texture. The final chapter of his professional run never receives the cinematic bounce-back montage. Injuries pile one atop the other, call-ups dwindle. The Springfield Falcons season ends with more iced body parts than point streaks. Yet the fade-out holds dignity. He never publicly blames injuries, never negotiates through media, never leverages pedigree for preferential treatment. Locker room witnesses remember gratitude speeches folded into post-game prayers, acknowledging trainers, medical staff, press officers, everyone inhabiting the periphery of highlight reels. Cavanagh retires from professional play with the same minimal fanfare that marked every new rung of his ascent. Resume bullet points list 18 NHL games, 3 points, 202 AHL games, 138 points, 4 Harvard seasons, 117 points, 1 prep school season, 82 torrential points, 1 ECAC overtime dagger, branded into Brown University nightmares. A single line on the Worcester Sharks record ledger immortalizes him at the top of the franchise scoring ladder. Some might squint at the absence of a major league hardware shelf, but a broader lens captures a mosaic of influence: academic crossover, developmental blueprint, leadership culture permeation that cannot be distilled into trophy cabinets. Tom Cavanagh's skates may hang silent on a garage hook now, steel blades dulled from disuse, yet the grooves they carve still glitter beneath layers of resurfaced ice. Every fresh sheet poured across New England rinks bears the faint imprint of his edgework, and every puck drop replicates a question he answered countless times: how to coexist with chaos while imposing calm. Those answers remain coded within game film, academic journals, hallway conversations, and the simple act of arriving prepared, 30 minutes early, tape rolled, visor wiped, heart rate steady. The scoreboard siren blares, the seats empty, the Zamboni engines whir, but stories ripple long after echo fades. Some ripple loud, others ripple deep. Tom Cavanagh's ripples traverse both, overlapping across generations of athletes who study the lines he sketched into frozen water and decide that greatness need not roar to resonate. Sometimes it hovers just above a whisper, brushing past, reminding anyone who listens that mastery shortens time, stretches numbers, and endures quietly in the rinks of memory.